Hi, Christy here. I'm going to show you today how to make kale chips.
First thing you're going to need is a dehydrator. There are many different kinds of dehydrators. It does not have to look just like this, but here it is, and it has a stack of trays. I recommend, if you're just starting out and you just want to try this out, is to get one of these off Craigslist or something, or even at a thrift store rather than buying one new. So you're going to start off, you're going to have nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has nothing to do with bread. It's kind of this golden flaky stuff you can get at Vitamin Cottage, Whole Foods, any place like that. I like to use garlic salt because I like mine a little salty. If you don't like salt, don't use that. I use paprika, and I usually use a spray olive oil, but I was out today, so I'm just using vegetable oil. So what I've done is you take a whole piece of kale like this, make sure you wash it. You don't want any caterpillar poop in there. And then you're going to take off the leaves until you just have the stalk. We don't want that. It's perfect for the compost. Until you have all these nice smaller pieces of leaves. Now it doesn't matter if you get the purple kale or green, it doesn't really matter. When you have your tray, this is a key thing to remember, is to spray it before you put the leaves on, because if you don't, when these things are dried out and crispy, they'll stick. And when you're trying to get them off, you'll destroy them. So here's what you do. You put them onto the tray like this. I take some of the nutritional yeast, paprika and garlic salt, and put it in here. Now this tray is not full. I really need to add to it. But just in order to show you, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this on here. And one of the things you can choose to use or choose not to use is agave. Today I have used agave in one machine and I didn't in another. Let me just get some agave and I'm going to show you. When you put agave on, you really want to just drizzle it really lightly because it hinders it from drying out. In any case, you put them all together, and these dehydrators don't have an on-off switch. You just plug them in. People always ask me how long this takes. I've never really timed it. I just put it on, and later in the day I check it. So we'll check this and the other dehydrator later today and compare the agave to no agave kale chips. Also, I don't know if I said this before, but on your dehydrator there's this vent kind of thing that slightly turns. Make sure that that's open because you actually want the air to come out. Now when I look at the top ones, I can tell some of them need to be dried a little more. So I'm just going to check the bottom couple. They're usually a little drier because they're closer to the heat. They're paper thin. And they taste really good. These are a little salty. Let's give you a better look at these. But this is the tray that's not quite done. I don't know, see how it's kind of bent? This is kind of bendy and it's not really rustly. You can tell it's not done, so it just needs to cook for longer. But here on that bottom tray, you can just hear it crackle because it's so thin and dry. That's what it should be. You may be wondering how to store these delicious little crispy things. Here's what you do. If you're going to take them to work, get a little bowl and put some rice in it. And then you just really have to pick up each one separately and put it in here. And the rice will help it from getting moist. And that way you can take them to work. But honestly, what I suggest doing, if you're just eating them at home, is leave them in the dehydrator. Just let them sit there. Now that being said, you have to ask yourself, does bread get dry or soggy in my area when left open? Now I live in Colorado, so if I leave bread open, it gets really dry, which means my kale chips stay nice and crispy. If I was in Georgia though, I couldn't leave my kale chips out like this. They would end up getting too moist. So if you don't live in a very dry place, try putting them in a little Tupperware with some rice. And people ask me, how long do these things last? Well, no one actually knows because we eat them too fast. These are the trays with the ones that I had sprinkled just a little bit of agave on. They turned out wonderfully. Sometimes they're just a slightly less crisp than the ones without agave, so you really want to make sure you don't put too much on there. You can almost not tell it's there when you're eating it, but it just has that extra factor. Hope you enjoy these.